Vice President Kamala Harris decided to do one specific major podcast, the Call Her Daddy podcast. And I'm sure you guys don't know that podcast because it's a podcast hosted by a HOE about sex. Yep, because Kamala is trying to reach female voters. And how does she reach them? By talking to fellow sluts. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube channel. I post videos, new videos every single day, sometimes one, sometimes two, depends. I am a mother, okay, so I have some priorities here, but let's get into it. I'm disgusted, to say the least.
At a rally in Pennsylvania, former President Trump recently told women, "You will be protected and I will be your protector." What do you make of that?
So he who, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did just as he intended. And there are now 20 states with Trump abortion bans, including bans that make no exception for incest, which we just discussed, which means that you're telling a survivor of a crime, of a violation to their body, they don't have a right to make a decision about what happens to their body next, which is immoral. So this is the...
By the way, I can't say the word RAPE, but that and incest account for just half of 1% of all reasons for abortions. Just 0.5% of the reasons why women get an abortion. So Democrats love to highlight that and make it like a shock value, like, oh my gosh, they don't care about these victims. Yes, we do. But you guys still would want abortion for women that were not victims of that or incest. So why the F do you bring it up? Because they're trying to just appeal to the emotions and make Republicans seem like such evil white male monsters. Shut up, bitch.
Same guy that is now saying that. This is the same guy who said that women should be punished for having abortions. This is the same guy who uses the kind of language he does to describe women.
So, shut up, bitch. Shut up, you stupid whore.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I do want to focus on abortion for a moment because 2 years ago, Roe v. Wade was overturned and women lost their constitutional right to an abortion. I put out
Since when was abortion a constitutional right, Alex? Girl, abortion's quite literally never mentioned in the Constitution. I know you probably have never read the Constitution, so you wouldn't know, but it's not in there at all.
Episode about it. I flew to North Carolina. Yeah. I went to a preferred women's health center. I met with women that were getting screamed at and chanted at and called baby killers, and it was...
That's what they are. It's what they are.
The most eye-opening experience I've ever had because I am a privileged white woman that lives in Los Angeles, and I am so aware of that.
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny? She had like a breakup with her co-host who was like a very big lib, and she was like supposedly a Republican, so I've kind of liked her more than the other girl, but she has been drinking the Kool-Aid. Alex Cooper has been brainwashed into being, I'm a privileged white woman. Yeah, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid, girl.
I understand that a lot of the younger generation sees things online and is like, what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is not. Can you explain and talk about what is actually happening to abortion access right now in this country?
Yeah. So again, I thank you for what you've been doing and at the earliest stage of this and following the stories. So, you know, on public policy, I often tell my team, look, I don't want to hear about public policy is a fancy kind of speech or paper. Tell me how it'll affect a real person. So let's talk about how it affects a real person. The majority of women who receive abortion care are mothers. So if she's in a state, and by the way...
Oh yeah, let's now say it's all you're targeting mothers if you're anti-abortion. No, actually, we want more women to become mothers and have to deal with the consequences of having unprotected sex.
Every state...
And not kill babies. As a mother, it disgusts me to think about other women killing their own babies. I can't fathom it. I don't even like to talk about it because it actually makes me really sad.
In the South, except for Virginia, has an abortion ban, okay? So imagine she's in a state with an abortion ban. 1 out of 3 women are, by the way, in our country. And she's a mom. So she's going to have to figure out, one, God help her if she has affordable childcare. God help her if she has paid leave. And then she's going to have to go to the airport, stand in a TSA line, sit on a plane next to a perfect stranger, to go to a city where she's never been, to receive the care she needs. She's going to probably have to get right back on that plane because she's got those kids. Her best friend's probably not with her because that's who's taking care of the kids. To get back in that TSA.
She has this story, this sob story, all figured out. It's all scripted and ready to go.
Line to get back on a plane to go home.
And that's all if they can even afford the plane ticket or the bus ticket.
What about the baby that dies during an abortion? If it's successful, yeah. I feel more bad for the baby that dies.
Exactly.
Because when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I remember my DMs were flooded with thousands of women begging me to help. And it's overwhelming. And I can't even imagine, I'm saying that in front of you, but it's overwhelming. And I remember people begging me like, I just need to afford a bus ticket so I can get out of this abortion desert that I live in the South, so I can get to a state. But they can't even afford, you know what I mean? So it's like these people are literally landlocked into a position that they don't want to be.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing is that you don't have to abandon your faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government shouldn't be telling her what to do.
Oh, this is my favorite thing that Democrats do is like when all of a sudden there's small government people, right? All of a sudden they don't want the government telling you what you can and cannot do with your body, but they want to force vaccines on you. They want to force you to give up your hard-earned money to other people that are poor in other countries like Israel and Ukraine. Gosh, this is like, it blows my mind.
If she chooses, she'll talk to her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling you what to do. And that's what's so outrageous about it, is a bunch of these guys up in these state capitals are writing these decisions.
And they always frame it as a bunch of these guys. It's always the white evil men.
Because they somehow have decided that they're in a better position to tell you what's in your best interest than you are to know what's in your own best interest. It's outrageous.
It's outrageous. I mean, Daddy Gang, to put it in our TikTok terms, I have seen girls on the street walk up to men and be like, do you know where a tampon goes? Do you know how many tampons we use? Do you even know how, like, do you know what a X or Y or Z is of a part of our, and they don't know the answer.
I was the first vice president or president to ever in office go to a reproductive health care clinic, ever.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that, but I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. To your point.
And yet the men are making the decisions about our bodies.
And here's the other thing about this point, it's about...
This proves why women are so stupid. I'm not even kidding. Like, so stupid.
IVF treatments and access. It's about access to contraception, which is very much at risk with these folks. It is about, back to the point about reproductive health clinics. You know what those clinics also do? They do PAPs. They do breast cancer screenings. They do HIV testing.
It's barely anything that they do. They're just abortion clinics. That's what they are.
And they're having to close in many places with these bans. So think about the fact that for anyone who has gone to one of these clinics, you understand that it is sometimes the most trusted place where people receive that kind of health care, because they walk into those places that are generally staffed by people who create a safe place for people to come in without judgment. So anyone seeking any kind of reproductive health care and wanting to go to a place where they feel safe and without judgment, these clinics have often been the place that people can go. And
they should feel judged if they're going to kill their babies. They should feel judged.
Many of them are having to close because of these laws.
I was raised Catholic, and abortion is a sin. And when I put out that episode, I had a lot of women reach out to me saying like, wow, I live in the South and I never thought about it that way. Like, maybe I am pro-choice, because I won't get an abortion because of
Yeah,
my religion,
right.
but why should we control what someone else wants
And
to
that's
do?
exactly, and you know, it's interesting,
Because we should be protecting life. Innocent life must be protected.
Alex, to your point, what I'm finding as I travel, people who before 2 years ago, before Roe v. Wade was overturned, people who felt very strong about that they are anti-abortion, are now seeing what's happening and saying, I didn't intend for all this to happen. And I think that's also why in state after state, so-called red states and so-called blue states, when this issue has been on the ballot, the American people are voting for freedom.
Freedom, because that's what Democrats stand for, right?
Ultimately, it's about, look, this is not about imposing my thoughts on you in terms of what you do with your life or your body. It's actually quite the opposite. It's saying the government shouldn't be telling people what to do.
This, I'm not even kidding you, was probably the most insane, ridiculous, absurd interview I've ever reacted to in my entire life. Thanks so much for watching. I'm pissed off now.